Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Zymax, and I'm your chief show attendant. On behalf of the two hosts and the rest of the crew, welcome aboard Weird Wednesday Flight number 13, non-stop, from your current location to parts unknown. Our flight will be of about 2 hours, and we'll be flying at the speed of sound. At this time, make sure your seat backs and tray tables are in their full upright position, and that your seat belt is currently fastened. Enjoy the ride.
What's up, everybody? How's it going? Welcome to Weird Wednesday. I
Kind of like Elmer Fudd there.
Yeah.
Blip, 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 blip. Yep, yep.
That's all, folks.
How's it
Goodbye,
going?
good night.
That's all, folks.
I'm gonna close this window.
So what's going on? Everybody doing okay for the hump day, middle of the week? Weirdness? I have no idea. What's the weather like where you're at, Jason?
Well, it's not snowing now. I mean, it's been warming up, so thank God.
Yeah.
Except that my son didn't get to go sledding. Neither one of them got to go sledding because my oldest grew out of his boots. So the whole time we had snow, we're like, you can't go. And then the boots arrived. It rained, and the snow went away.
Nice. Standing at the window looking at it.
They would have sled for like 5 or 10 minutes and be like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never sledded. Never done it.
Yeah, Florida guy. See, my wife's parents have a place that's got these hills that just go like soup. It's like you'd be like sledder's dream, you know.
Wow.
Dean went down it when he was like 4 or 5 years old. Went down once. He's like, I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny where my relatives live up in North Carolina. Right out in front of their house, there's this like hella crazy hill, and I remember going down it on my skateboard the first time. It was like a harrowing experience, and I was talking to my aunt the other day, and she's several years older than me, and she was like, "Yeah, I remember when I was a little girl, and your cousin got me to go down that hill on my bike, and I never liked bikes after that."
Yeah, we had when I was a kid. There's this like my wife's parents have like a natural great sledding hill, but as a kid, we lived in this trailer park that had like this bridge that a train went under, and so I had this like super steep, like it with rocks and ledges and things like that. They'd get the snow on it. The kids would go and sled down it. And it'd be just like, okay, who's gonna break a bone today?
Yeah, exactly.
Good times.
Who's getting hurt first?
I never did, but boy, I took some tumbles.
I had this smart idea. Maybe if I would have took my trucks off, it would have been smarter. But I went down a very steep hill, which was gravel. There was no sidewalk, no nothing. pretty steep. I thought, well, I'm just going to take the skateboard down it. Don't recommend it. Did a couple cartwheels.
You remember the movie? You remember the movie with David Carradine, Death Race 2000, the original?
Oh, yeah.
We used to watch that, and then when we go sledding, we'd always like replay the scenes from it, like the guy at the construction site and the other guy sledding, to be like, boom, 200 points. You know?
Yeah. Damn. Well, we got a few weird stories. I saw one today. Since we're talking about, Elon Musk and SpaceX and satellites and everything else, he shot another prototype up today. SpaceX rocket took to the skies above Texas today for a test flight and ended in a successful landing for the first time before the rocket later exploded on the pad.
I didn't hear this.
It landed successfully, though. It landed successfully. It's just the after part we don't want to talk about.
Yeah. Why it matters. SpaceX.
Hey, by then the astronauts would have gotten out of the shuttle, right?
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, it wasn't like, they should have been hurrying.
Run for your lives!
Yeah.
It takes some time for them to get out of the shuttles, though. Like, depending, did it actually go up into space?
Well, it says SpaceX hopes to one day use its Starship to send people and cargo to places like Mars. These tests are key to proving out the tech needed for those future missions. A prototype of the next generation SpaceX rocket took to the skies above Texas today for a test flight that ended in a successful landing before the rocket later exploded on the pad.
It landed successfully.
Yeah, it did land.
Baby steps, man.
Yeah, baby steps, millions of dollars worth of baby steps. But the Starship, called SN-10, made it about 10 kilometers in altitude before starting its descent back to Earth. SN-10 then managed to land upright on the pad. I watched the video, and it was kind of leaning some, and they're like, we're not going to cut away. We're not going to cut away. This is something that SN-8 and SN-9 were not able to accomplish during their test flights. The third time's a charm, SpaceX engineer and webcast commentator John Insprucker said during the broadcast of the launch. While the landing was seemingly successful, the rocket then exploded shortly after touching down, and it was a hell of an explosion, too. If you look it up, it's on YouTube, it's on NASA's website and everything, and it's like a 15-minute video, and just, you can like fast forward it to like the last
and about $15 billion.
Yeah. But yeah, at least he got it up into the atmosphere and had it successfully come back and land. And yeah, like you say, baby steps, millions of dollars worth of baby steps. But hey,
I could have got you on a. That's what she said right there.
Exactly. But hey, when you got money to burn, like Elon Musk.
Hey, they teamed up with NASA too, so
yeah.
Yeah,
they
for
got
how
some
long?
Government money.
Yeah.
Yeah, for how long?
Kind
That's
of.
all I gotta say.
Yeah.
Silhouette of the rocket. I'm just saying, kind of looks like a dick, but
Yeah, they always do. It's the phallic symbol of man's journey into space.
Yeah,
we must penetrate space and other worlds with our mankind humanists.
With our flying dick.
Yeah.
I was saying it was like a flying dildo.
Mm-hmm. I'm all for it though. I'm like, come on, let's do it. Let's get it.
Yeah,
I think so.
I was laying in bed last night watching the video of Mars, from the rover in 4K. And I was reading the comments, and, people were talking about, oh, it looks like much rocks and dust and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but one guy's comment said, just think about it for a minute. You're sitting in your house watching a video from another planet. So,
and you're not impressed. Welcome to 2021.
Exactly.
That's what I was saying about the alien disclosure thing. You're like, oh yeah. What's Kim Kardashian doing right now?
Exactly.
I didn't want to talk about that.
What can I be offended about right now?
Yep. Let's make some more shit up. I was talking to one of my friends today, and it's like every day it's just like, let's make something else up to be offended or say it's racist or say
they're not going to care about it until Mars offends them. So
yeah, exactly. Damn redskin varmints. Don't call them redskins, man. That's offensive.
Yeah. Mr. Potato Head that we grew up with is now
Oh,
called
yeah.
Potato Head.
Yeah.
No, Hasbro came back and said no, he's going to be Mr. Potato Head.
For real?
They backed down. Yes, they backed down.
Okay.
Last thing we need to be doing is arguing over the gender identity of a plastic potato. You know?
That's what I'm saying. And someone on the news was like, it's more of an insult. Like, just they have to call him like Potato Head. Like, that sounds more like an insult. Hey, Potato Head.
It's
Hey, what's
Mr. Potato Head to you, okay?
Yeah.
If Mr. wants to pretend it's Mrs., that's fine. If kids want to play that way, I have no problem. But in the box, it's Mr. Potato Head.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
But then again, Dr. Seuss is now offensive. So
I don't even. I believe it. You're not joking, probably.
No, I'm
just
not.
Michael
don't-
Myers doing Dr.
Just wanna
Seuss is
know.
offensive. Dr. Seuss being offensive, I
Right?
don't know. But okay.
yeah. And being
Yeah.
a dumbass is offensive to me, but hey, that's just my opinion. Everybody has one. We all know what they're like. So
Well, everybody's always trying to get one over on somebody. And that's about what 3 of the articles are. One of them I got from you, Jason. But in California, and this isn't a new thing, it's just how realistic the dummy is. On February 26th, the California Highway Patrol said a driver using the high occupancy vehicle lanes of a highway was found to actually be traveling alone, except for one of the best dummies police had ever seen. The windows were too dark for the officer to see if the driver had a passenger. He soon discovered the apparent man sitting in the passenger seat of the truck was actually a highly realistic mannequin, complete with a COVID-19 face mask.
At least, this guy went the full I'm gonna try to get away with this. Like so many people have been caught with the alien. Remember the alien dummy?
Yes.
and then the sex doll. Yeah, sex dolls I think were the most common.
Yeah. So CHP says it was by far one of the best he had ever seen. Driver said he had been using the dummy to travel in the lanes, HOV lanes, for over a year before he got caught. So the driver was issued a ticket, and the max fee is $490. I guess they're not going to get him back for the whole year that he just confessed to, but yeah,
wow.
complete with the COVID mask.
Yeah, it's a pretty good dummy. It kind of looks like Weekend at Barney's,
Kind of does.
It's got Barney hanging out in the front seat.
Or Hank Hill. I'm getting Hank Hill vibes.
Yeah.
The next step for this is that he needs to put a little what I would do next.
Little
Okay, that didn't
cigarette.
work. No. Is as the cop walks up, I put a little remote control in it so it'd bend over and puke out and have green come out of its mouth. And go, oh my god, I gotta get him to the hospital, doctor. I gotta get him to a doctor. It's awful. I think it's a new strain of COVID.
Full on animatronics just to get out, paying your fee.
Go all the way.
You commit. If you're going to do it, commit.
But that's pretty good.
A little fart box in there and everything, Yeah.
All right, Rob, you're up.
I'm up. All right. Well, speaking of sick and stuff like that, Jamie shared this one with me. And it is a restaurant in North Carolina is now serving tarantula top burgers. Who wants to sign up for one of these right now?
I'd try it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you wouldn't.
Yeah, I would.
You really, really would?
Yeah, I'd take I don't
You
think I'd
had
eat the whole
talked to me
thing.
about Top Ramen and
Yeah, but that's plastic. At least
Pop-Tart.
this is God's creature. If you're out in the wilderness, you're trying to survive, and you might eat one of these things.
but you're not in the wilderness trying to survive. You're going to straight order that.
Yeah, you be in the wilderness with your ramen.
Yeah.
Let's get some
I'm in the
wax in
wilderness.
my
I'll be
stomach.
picking berries and licking grass. There's
Now, this
no
reminds
way.
my kids were watching Temple of Doom recently, and I walked in when they were watching the best scene when they're all putting the monkey brains in the eyeballs.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's one tasty burger. A North Carolina restaurant has conjured up a rather creepy creation available to a few lucky customers in the form of a tarantula top burger. The arachnophobe's nightmare is the brainchild of Durham Bull City Burger and Brewery as part of their annual Exotic Meats Month.
I think I'm kind of sad for the spider. And I don't like them because I lived around
You know what?
them.
This is where I would actually admit I would have an issue with eating it, not because it's a spider, it's because of the little hairs on the spider. Tarantulas are
Yeah,
little hairy things.
that would be it.
I wouldn't be eating.
And they even
spider
have the
hair.
butt up in the height in the like defense
Yeah.
position. Like, oh,
As I look closer, I think I'd get a little queasy. I might not.
Yeah.
you'd have to smash it maybe into the meat more. Pretend there's not hair.
Some tarantula cream sauce there.
Yeah.
The rotating menu features a variety of interesting selections such as rabbit, python, and camel, but its spider burger is one that's taken the festivities by storm. Aside from the sheer outrageousness of the meal, the tarantula top burger is also something as a rarity, as the restaurant is only serving one per day. Customers looking for a chance to chow down on the eight-legged oddity must enter a raffle, and should their number be pulled, are given a mere 48 hours to claim their spot at the spider table. Provided they eat the entire burger, which sells for $30, the daring diners will receive a commemorative T-shirt celebrating their feat, and also have an endlessly array of questions to answer about what the tarantula tastes like. To that end, those who have picked up the gourmet gauntlet say that it resembles some kind of shellfish, which we guess is better than saying it tastes like chicken.
I was gonna say chicken.
I'm big into shellfish, man. It tastes like some
Then I'd eat
red
some
lobster crab.
shellfish.
I'm all in. Give me
Yeah.
another. But I don't know about the hair.
Then
That's
I'll eat a
literally-
crab.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll eat a crab every
I
day.
wonder if people are gonna like fight over it since there's only one a day. Like, I'm going to get that tarantula burger.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
The real question is when you when people start eating the hamburgers that are not real hamburgers that are made,
Yeah.
made from it's hamburger, but it's genetically grown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your meat
Okay.
came from a petri dish.
Oh dear God.
That's what Bill Gates wants. But anyway,
Yeah,
What?
exactly. Bill Gates can bite it.
He wants what?
he wants all modernized civilizations to eat synthetic animal products, basically genetically grown animal products. Yeah, meat grown on a stick. All right.
Oh,
Anyways, another rabbit hole.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a whole nother.
So this is one. I guess there's like a lot of stories that have been going around about it. I only looked this one up, and I'm starting to wonder when I did look at the little video if they're confused because it's picking gravestones up maybe as people, kind of like the the SLS cameras
Yeah.
sometimes will map stuff out weird, but Tesla Autopilot. I just opened the article instead of my screenshot. Tesla Autopilot.
This is
Can't
one.
drive past cemeteries because invisible person blocks the path. And I sent Rob like a little video that they had, and I don't know what the guy was saying. And I guess it's like showing like the little person there.
Yeah.
So in case you didn't know, Tesla vehicles are capable of autopilot mode, meaning they can almost fully drive on their own. The car utilizes multiple camera, a radar, ultrasonic sensors, and a computer to navigate road surroundings. Amazingly, the autopilot mode can sense when people are around the vehicle and react accordingly. One dude with the Tesla tried out autopilot mode while going through a cemetery, and something really strange happens. The display shows that there's a person nearby the car, except no one is actually there. And since it's a cemetery, you can draw your own conclusions. So I guess a bunch of people with the cars have gone and tried doing it, and the same.
Yeah, I was
thing's
gonna say, there you
happening.
go. That's all it takes. The internet.
Mm-hmm.
Now
But
you got ghost hunters trying to run over people with their Teslas in graveyards. Sorry.
But yeah, you think it could just be like a map, like this? What I'm saying, like the mapping.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's like one person.
I mean, Tesla. You can. They're having all kinds of issues with the self-driving cars for that
Yeah.
exact reason.
I saw another one I was going to do today that now they're doing a self-flown fighter jet
Oh, hail? No.
Oh, that
Yeah.
no. See, the thing is, that's already we're getting the tail end of research
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff that's been going on for a long time. But yeah,
Well,
oh,
they-
Oh,
they-
yeah, like a fighter jet for like Warrant.
Mhm.
Yeah, they
Oh,
even
well,
Finding
say
new
yeah.
people.
they even say in the article that they pretty much they got the idea and the plans from Australia, who already has one apparently.
Mhm.
But do
They're not
people
the only
actually
one.
go on it?
What's that?
No. It's a fighter jet, but it's a drone. It's AI. You know, and you don't have to worry about putting a person in it and have them
Oh,
worry
that's
about the
cool.
G forces and stuff. Oh yeah, it's great. It's cool. They'll just go in and just annihilate countries. Whoever's got the most money to develop these things. Yeah, it's bad. It's very bad. It's just
Yeah.
where we're heading. It's just inevitable. You know,
Yep.
we always
Yeah.
got to find better ways to kill each other. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I'm just thinking about our own military and not having to
That's what-
actually send people.
Top Gun's, I think, the next Top Gun movie, they're going to throw a little micro mini Tom Cruise into a jet, and the plot line's going to be him going up against drones or something like
Yeah.
fighter jets that are AI or something. Which was
I mean,
already the premise of the movie Stealth. But
Yeah. I'm into drone technology, and I have several like kind of high end drones, and they're pretty awesome, you know. But I use them for, you know, good reasons. But yeah, I was watching a show that was showing a military drone. This thing is like it'll fit in the palm of your hand, and it kind of resembles a little tiny helicopter. It'll shoot 1080p video, and they can send it up. The thing's so small that they can send it up like over enemy territory and fully, you know, view everything that's going on. It has night vision, all that. The thing's like $250,000 per drone, but it's so tiny that you don't hear it, you know, you don't see it, and somebody's just controlling it, you know, from a view screen. So, you know, I mean, for the purposes of, you know, going in, and I can see the good in it, but I can definitely see the bad.
the bad is when you start putting little micro brains in these things, let them, you know, think in an AI network, and somebody hacks it, or it just goes total, you know, Skynet HAL on you
Yeah,
and tries to kill you. You know.
yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Yep.
You know.
Return to home. I'm sorry, Bob. I cannot
I'll
do
be back.
Yeah. You know. Yeah, that's what I'm just saying. I mean, sci-fi maps out our destruction. Humans.
Yeah,
This is
it
how we're
does.
going to destroy ourselves.
Yep. Well, you know, speaking of crazy kids and dumb people and stuff like that, kids do the craziest things. Trash can smash story out of all places, Florida. Jamie sent me this one. A Florida boy's attempt to hide in a trash can almost turned tragic when it was picked up by a garbage truck and nearly sent into the choppers as the blades turned on. Kid says, I was thinking this might be the end of me, 7-year-old Elias Quizada told WFLA, the NBC station in Tampa. I almost thought I was going to be a mashed potato, but then a sharp-eyed driver named Waldo Fidel spotted the boy in the truck's surveillance camera and rushed to turn the choppers off. It was a bad day for me, Fidel told the Tampa Fox 13. I was scared. Luckily, he was able to act in time and call 911 for help. Elias' grandmother said it all happened so fast. In a minute, he went out. The next thing I hear is the sound of the truck and the guy screaming. Elias suffered a couple of minor cuts and perhaps the beginning of a lifelong aversion to certain household items known as trash cans. I don't like trash cans anymore, he told WFLA. Then again, he said he did make an exception when he spoke to the news. You know, I mean, unless it's like a tiny trash can that's inside the house, then it might be okay. But this is how we learn, you know, hide in the trash can to scare the trash guy. Next thing you know, you're getting minced up in the back of the truck and turned into spaghetti.
That's terrifying.
I just
Who
think about my
called
trash
911?
cans. They're nasty. Like, what kid didn't like?
Yeah. 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 There's, you know, I don't even like touching my trash cans.
Right.
Oh,
Exactly.
hell.
This kid has no versions of that, I guess.
Yeah.
It doesn't look dirty coming out. Who called
might be an
911 though? Like
aftershock.
the kid called? Who? I'm
No,
confused.
the driver.
Okay. Wow.
So, hey, you know, Don't go hiding in
So
trash
should we
can.
do some more people behaving badly or see some cool lights? What's easier for you to pull up right now?
Oh, anything.
All right,
Let
let's
me pull a
do
rabbit.
some cool lights. We'll do the power surge transformer one. And this says, call the Ghostbusters. Transformer surge releases eerie floating power orbs. And this is more it's not a ghost thing, it's just a trip to see. A Louisiana man captured some unusual footage Monday, a series of strange, pulsating orbs shooting across power lines. The eerie sight came complete with sound effects. It sounded almost like a tornado. The glowing orbs were caused by a power surge released as a transformer failed. The station said about 10,000 people were without power on a chilly day after the surge. Others in the area captured similar footage. So
This has sound. I saw this video.
I think I turned it down
Yeah.
because there was
It
it's a
sounds pretty
news
awesome.
thing and there was a bunch. So I just wanted to get like that part basically.
And look at
showing-
that. You can tell he's filming it with an iPhone because he has that damn green lens flare.
Yep.
and the borders.
But yeah, I saw this video and it makes some crazy intense like.
I've seen it kind of power surge like that happen before.
Yeah,
Real
me
time.
too.
Across the power lines like
Mhm.
that?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And then blow up a power transformer.
Yep.
I mean, I've seen that kind of stuff.
That explodes.
We've had
It's
surges,
big.
but I never seen nothing like that.
Oh, when we had a power transformer right out, I watched it go down the line and hit the power transformer while I was doing dishes. Get my hands out of the sink, like what's going on?
Yeah.
You know.
I remember when I was in 5th grade and I was at Orange Street Elementary School and I was sitting in class one day and I was just like daydreaming. I looked out the window and I see a squirrel running down the power lines, and I'm like, oh man,
No,
look at
Rob, don't.
that.
I don't want to hear the squirrel getting electrocuted.
Oh yeah, you know where it's going. Yep.
Yeah.
Right down the lines. He hopped off the line onto the transformer and it was like
Was it like the cartoons where they go like from a skeleton zap, 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 zap?
I'm sure somebody found a charred, crispy, stiff squirrel somewhere in their yard.
We all ran out, as soon as we got out of class and ran out there to look for the squirrel skeleton.
Oh,
pieces.
my goodness.
Those transformers explode, man.
Yeah, it made a big bada boom.
We had a surge here one time. I was so upset because I used to, recharge batteries back then for my Walkman. And all the batteries in the charger blew, my Nintendo blew, like everything in my room. I was so mad.
Yep. It was cool. I mean,
Now I have things in a surge protector.
I have the surge protector, and even when the storm comes, you hear me going boom, 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 boom downstairs and unplugging everything.
Well, yeah, you get some horrible weather.
Well, yeah, I got some expensive stuff hooked up.
All right, Rob.
this is another Florida story. I'm joking here.
Florida, the gift that keeps on giving for the winter.
It does. It does.
It does.
It's an endless barrage of entertainment. This one is it's in Orange City. A Florida man stole an engagement ring and wedding bands from a girlfriend, from his old girlfriend, and used them to propose to another girlfriend, according to authorities.
What a creep.
Has he never watched a sitcom? Or I mean, like, this
really.
kind of thing, like, never turns out good.
Never.
Volusia County Sheriff's deputy said Tuesday that they have issued an arrest warrant for Joseph Davis, 48, who had not been found as of Friday. Their investigation started earlier this year when a woman from Orange City, Florida, told that here we go again. stuttering, rented
Blah,
lips.
blah, 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 that's all, folks.
Told detectives that she had discovered her boyfriend was actually engaged to someone else. Damn, hate when that happens. When she looked up the fiance's Facebook page, she noticed a photo of her wearing a wedding band and engagement ring that was identical to her own from a prior marriage. The sheriff's office said in a news release. When the Orange County city woman checked her jewelry box, she found that the rings were missing and several other pieces of jewelry were gone as well, including a
So she
diamond.
didn't even know that they were gone.
Yeah,
Well,
she
they were
didn't
an old marriage.
Yep.
Not his, obviously.
Including a diamond ring that belonged to her grandmother. The total value of the stolen property was about $6,270, according to the sheriff's office. Orange County is located between Orlando and Daytona. And the Orange City woman reached out to the fiance who returned some of the items, and they both called it off with Davis, who also went by the names Joe Brown and Marcus Brown. Fiance, who lives in Orlando, told detectives she had been duped too. Davis took the fiance to a house that actually belonged to the Orange City woman while she was at work and claimed it was his. He then asked the fiance to move in with him, and then he disappeared. By that time, the fiance discovered her laptop, computer, and jewelry were missing. So yeah, it goes on.
I swear I've seen this on the ID channel,
Probably.
like something like this, where he had moved the woman in. This
Yeah, he's like, giving her a ring from his old girlfriend and taking her to his old girlfriend's house while she's at work, saying it's his house.
They had no long-term plans. Everything was
No.
like, yeah, I'm going to
Yeah.
have sex with you, take your stuff.
Yeah.
I took her stuff.
Yeah,
Then I'm going to
playing
ditch
it for a
town.
minute. Yep.
Mhm.
Why was only some things returned? Like what happened to the rest? And the
Pawn
grandmas
shop.
were that would
Yeah.
be priceless. What's
Yeah.
that?
Down at the
Oh,
pawn
pawn
shop.
shop.
Guaranteed.
I'm looking down here further, and it said Davis had. I guess they did find him or something. It says Davis has an active arrest warrant for a hit and run crash with injuries in Oregon.
No, really?
He's been arrested for possession of fictitious IDs, filling a false police report, domestic assault, possession of cocaine with intent to sell. The list goes on. Wow. Yeah, Florida, man. That's your Florida man.
What a creep!
Yep.
You can find him on Match.com.
What they need to put his face on here, not his damn hand. We need to see who this.
No, this is just stock footage. It's not his hand, I guarantee.
No, that's not his name. But
We
it
need to
does say
see who this man is and
At the very
texting
end,
these women.
at the very end, it does say Davis was booked. And when he was booked in jail, he was noted that he had a tattoo on his left arm that said, "Only God can judge me."
Yeah, you keep rolling with that, buddy.
Yeah,
You keep rolling with that. You just keep telling yourself that as you screw people over.
exactly.
Yep. Yeah. That should have been your first warning. That should be like a big warning sign right there in his arm, ladies. It
Yeah.
says that. Yeah.
That's a pretty
You
big
run.
red flag if you ask
Yeah.
me.
Only God can judge me. For what? Because I am going to judge you.
Yeah, because now I am judging you. I don't think it's God that you have to worry about.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, Debbie, you're right.
Florida man.
Absolutely right. There's some Florida man hee-haw, hey mayhem going on because, like Debbie said, it's Bike Week coming up. This week. So there's going to be lots of crazy shit happening in Florida, in Debbie's neck of the woods.
Oh, they're letting you have a bike.
Yeah, we're Florida, man. We don't give a damn about none of this COVID crap. We're open for business. Haven't you heard?
All right. So
Repopulating the earth right now.
Exactly.
No, they forgot about the 7 billion people are here, but yeah, a lot of that's going to be happening in Florida.
Yep.
some more interesting lights. We're off a couple weeks, so some of these are a little bit dated, but this one's gonna be the lights, the Canada.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to find where my. Nope, sorry. Okay, I'm gonna have to read it off of the freaking article. The video's long. Anyways, but it's cool. It's a whole compilation. Fireball lights up in the early morning sky over a Canadian province, and this was February 23rd. What's cool is the compilation of different, static cameras that caught it. So February 23rd, fireball that was caught on camera lighting up in the early morning sky over Alberta, Canada was a particularly bright meteor. The fireball was caught on security cameras and other videos about 6:30 a.m. Sightings were also reported in Edmonton and Saskatchewan. The American Meteor Society, to which posted a video of the fireball to YouTube, said the item was a bright meteor entering the Earth's atmosphere. It was unclear whether any pieces of the meteor made landfall or whether the entire object burned on entry. So, yeah, I kind of screwed up at the beginning. I didn't edit out the.
Say it's like my video's freezing up. I'm like, okay, it's just
No, it's me. It's me playing with
goes.
my screen record, but I just didn't cut that part off. And then they kind of have like a song with it. But
giant fireball in the sky.
yeah.
Yeah, it was weird when I left earlier. I left the house earlier. I was going
Why
down.
is it just playing that one piece over and over and it's not
Yes.
showing them?
I don't know. Things are going crazy. But yeah, when I left the house earlier, I was driving down the road here, and there's a real dark area in the road, and I saw something come out of the sky, not near as big as this. It was tiny, but something looked like a shooting star, falling star, something like that, come right down, right over the road, and land like on the side of the road. And I actually slowed down to look and see, if I could see something, but I didn't see anything. I don't know what it was.
Why that video isn't what I sent. It's like 2 minutes and it's like a whole bunch of really cool meteors. Anyway, I'm gonna put the article in
Let's see. Here's another one. Here's the one that I screenshotted.
chat, and then people can look it up too if they want.
See if this one works.
Again, that's only 37 seconds, and it's like a 2-minute. It's a 2-minute thing.
Yeah, this looks like the same one.
Okay, I'm putting the link in here so y'all can check it out if you want later.
Yeah, I don't know what I saw earlier, but it was definitely interesting. Maybe it was a tiny UFO. Maybe it was just a lightning bug. I don't know. It was interesting, though.
Okay, there's the.
You got anything else?
Got another one?
Nope.
All right.
I'm done.
I've got 2 people behaving badly. Get out of chat. One of them I got from Jason. And these are more people trying to get one over. Okay,
Which one are you doing?
I don't know where this ends and the other one begins. Okay, Arizona man is accused of faking his own kidnapping to evade work. I think this is the one I got from you, right?
Yeah, we covered this last Sunday.
Authorities in Arizona accused a man of going to extreme lengths to get out of work this month, saying he faked his own kidnapping, bound his own wrists, gagged himself, and invented a story of treasure hidden in the desert. The man, Brandon, was arrested last week on a charge of false reporting to law enforcement. They believed was intended to get Mr. Souls excused from his job at a tire store. In the statement, the police said that Mr. Souls, 19, admitted during an interview with detectives that he had made up the kidnapping story, which led to his arrest. He was booked at the Coolidge Police Department and released at the court date. He didn't immediately respond to a message on Tuesday, and it's not clear whether he had a lawyer. So,
He doesn't have a job anymore.
The police arrested him on the February 17 after a week of investigation led them to treat his case as a hoax. The police were first called on February 10 when officers responded to a report of an injured man in an area near train tracks, houses, and a city water tower. The caller reported the man was going in and out of consciousness. When the officers arrived, they found a man later identified as Mr. Souls with his hands bound behind his back and a belt and a purple bandana stuffed in his mouth, according to the police. A photo of the police department showed the man with his hands tied while lying on his side on the ground. Told the officers after completing an errand that morning, he returned to his home where two masked men abducted him near his vehicle, struck him in the back of his head, knocked him out unconscious. So he says they drove him around in a vehicle before they let him in the area where he was found. Mr. Souls was taken to a hospital where he was evaluated and interviewed by the police. According to the department, he told investigators he had been kidnapped because his father had a large amount of money hidden throughout the desert. So basically, this guy wasted a lot of people's time and resources where they could have been doing other things besides investigating some dumbass that just wanted to get out of work.
That's a commitment.
Yeah.
If you're going to do it, though, like we were saying Sunday, you got to commit all the way.
Yeah. That's when we mentioned there's no like head wound or anything, like he didn't hit himself in the head.
You gotta make it believable, man.
Mm-hmm. So then we have another guy who wanted his snow cleared up. A Ukraine
That one
man
I gave you.
invents murder in an attempt to get police to clear snow. A Ukrainian man confessed to a fictitious murder in the hope that police would clear his snow-covered road when they came to arrest him. The man called police on Saturday evening to tell them he had killed his mother's partner by stabbing him in the chest. But at the same time, he immediately warned the police that they should come with a snowplow because there's no other way to get to him, said a police spokesman. She said officers did not take a snowplow and were able to get to the man's house in an SUV. Immediately after arriving, they discovered that the relative was indeed at the house, but in one piece and unharmed. No one had attacked him. She said, adding that the killer immediately confessed to making a fake call. He said municipal services had plowed the road earlier on Saturday, but he was not satisfied with the quality of the clearing. So he faces a fine up to 119 or whatever their money is for reporting a false complaint. Hyrenias?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. But
That's real close to being something naughty. Ukraine has recorded snowfalls in recent days with about 20 inches blanketing much of the country. So, yep, another brilliant.
he could have just hired somebody to come clean the damn snow and got away with it cheaper.
Yeah, a lot cheaper.
A lot cheaper. So, we have the Itc Experiment, and this kind of struck a nerve with me when I saw it on the ID channel. So when I did the video to read the article and let you guys know, kind of understand what was going on, I also gave like my input on what I think happened. And you guys knowing me know why this bugs me so much, and I want whoever's responsible, if it is who I think it is, to
Let me ask you this. Okay, so the victim, what was the name of the victim?
Holly Moore.
Holly Moore. Okay, so she, for people who haven't seen the video, she was found hung in her closet with a, what was it?
It was a line wrapped around her neck, and it
What
was
kind of,
from
what was she used though? Was it a
it's,
zip tie?
no, it was like just a cord or something, some sort of like a line, like a
I
cord.
think when I watched the ID thing, it was like a zip tie, an industrial strength zip tie.
Well, they had said like a line because their fingers were underneath it.
Mm-hmm.
So in the video, I kind of give what my thoughts are on it. When I was practicing, when I checked the portal earlier to make sure it worked, her name came out when I had just started it up.
Ah,
So I got a little clip of that. So yeah, it turned out to be like a 10-minute video, but it'll give the history of it. I want to get your guys' opinions on it, and then hopefully maybe there's something in the video, the session that comes out that down the line might be able to help.
well, here we go. Why don't I have sound?
Yeah, I'm not hearing anything.
Let me try this again. Open it with something else.
Hey, Jamie D
Hey.
with the Weird Wednesday show. And tonight, Rob and I are going to be doing our Itc live experiment on this case here, Holly Moore. I had seen this on the ID channel several months ago, and it really hit a nerve with me. And if you know me personally, you know how I feel about people getting away with things, especially how I feel about men who get away with harming women. Not going to get into all that, but there were aspects of this that really, really bothered me. And it's one of those things that not only do you want it for the family, so they know who, so they can get the answers that they're still waiting for. None of it's, going to bring her back. But if anything, we can get some justice for her and make sure that whoever did this can never do it again. Because I personally don't buy the suicide. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to read an article. I can't play the videos. I'm going to read an article about it. And when I'm done, I'm going to let you know my feelings on how I feel it went down. And then tonight, when we run the experiment, Rob and I will ask some questions that is just really, really eating at me. So this is Holly Moore on the screen here. A recent 7-minute piece about Moore on the Discovery ID channel has attracted nearly 1 million page views. The family's working with other media outlets to generate additional attention and offering a $50,000 reward for information on the Justice for Holly Moore Facebook page. And I'm going to put up a post with different links to their Facebook page, as well as the petition that is going around, which I signed, and some other information. So, you're going to be hearing this late. after the fact, but I'm going to post that after I do the video. And that way, anybody who's interested ahead of time can do a little research before we conduct the experiment. And all your EVP ears are going to be really, really helpful. So as the second anniversary date of her death approaches, I'm not sure when this article was written, in an effort to prod authorities to take another look at the case, they won't say they're investigating, but they won't say it's closed either. And that's the weird thing about this. They're keeping records as if it were a homicide. If it was a suicide, the records would be made available to everybody. And my feeling for that is because I feel the military, some people in the military, I feel were involved. I feel when the man who performed the autopsy said, I have no reason to make this up or lie about this, when he tries to claim he cut her rib cage apart, her collarbone apart during the autopsy. I can think of a good reason why he would lie about it, because of pressure with the police or the military. That's stuff you usually don't want going around, and they sometimes, unfortunately, will be very, very protective of those things. I can't recall what city or town this is, but some are more apt to wanting to keep these things secret than others. Another person who had looked at the autopsy work said if he did that, then that's the worst autopsy they've ever seen. So I do feel he's lying about that. Castle Rock detectives say the totality of the evidence points to suicide. A busy freshman at University, of Colorado, Denver, Moore was also helping to care for quadriplegic mother in her battle with multiple sclerosis. She was on antidepressants, and the crime scene was a clean and orderly, given no indication of a violent struggle, which is here up here on the screen. They actually had said it was almost military clean. And that's before I even knew anything about military. That popped in my head. Who does she know that's in the military? Okay. Her sister had said, I believe it was, that even when Holly cleaned, it wasn't like clean. So the way that her apartment was left is not the way she normally would have it. Moore's father and sister say the apartment's exceptional tidiness appears to be the work of someone other than Moore. And in the weeks leading up to her death, they add, she'd had several confrontations with an abusive ex-boyfriend who had been observed on at least 2 occasions choking her. Holly's sister April filed for a restraining order against the ex because of alleged threats, and a threatening message from him was found on the voicemail. The sister had actually said he picked her up by the neck like this before. And for me, people who do know me know I dealt with an abusive ex-husband who basically lost his mind when he found out he had cancer. And he had to have a surgery. And he just got really depressed, started becoming extremely abusive. And he would do those things to me. So I see the way he would treat me and then the face he would put on to outside people. Police say the ex-boyfriend, a soldier stationed at Fort Carson, has alibi witnesses for the night in question and was engaged in an exchange of text messages with Moore shortly before she died. Bray says the alibi is flawed. The boyfriend could easily have left the base that night. This is what I wanted to know. The detectives never bothered to determine his cell phone's location during the flurry of messages, which included a bizarre photo of Moore's leg with various names scrawled in ink. That's what I wanted to know. Was his phone ever pinged? Because when I heard that they had some messages going back and forth, I thought, where was the phone when this happened? It sounds to me like he's setting it up, doing both texts. And her having depression in her background, for somebody like this, very easy for them to set it up and stage it that way. And I again, this is coming from personal experience and just common sense and my own intuition. I had asked the family when I posted on her page if they ever did ping that cell phone. I guess I just got the answer to that, which very upsetting, very upsetting. Some of the most disturbing findings in the case, though, were uncovered by forensic analysts hired at the family's own expense. Moore had a broken collarbone that the family believes was incurred before her death, possibly during a struggle, an injury that would have made it difficult to hang herself. Gray describes as profuse bodily fluids, also found elsewhere in the apartment, suggesting the body had been moved after death. Even the writing on her leg appears to be by more than one person. Okay, when she was found, she was hanging from the bar in her closet. Okay, so that bar, I'm 5'4", is about this height. Okay, she's very tall. You know, you have to have some room to break your neck and hang. For her to be like this and almost like I don't want to use the term dead weight, but dead weight hanging like that, that could slowly strangle you and kill you. Now, she was found with her fingers underneath the ligature or the line, almost like she was trying to make room or pull it off. I had one collarbone broken. I know that I couldn't sneeze without my entire body hurting. This one collarbone, moving this arm, killed this side, okay? It hurt so bad. Like, put your hand on your collarbone and move other parts of your body. You can feel it's all connected. Now, I could walk around like this with my arm. That's all I could do. It's the most, I've broken a lot of bones. That's the most painful one. Now, if you had two, you wouldn't be able to do much of anything, but she could tuck her arms up enough to try to do this. She's not getting out of that. She would definitely be able to slowly suffocate that way. I believe they broke her collarbone so that they could stage it this way. I'm feeling that he may have had some help, and it turns out the ex was part of the military. These are things, tactics, things that people learn. He could have had buddies holding her down while this happened, so he could set her up this way. But I do feel that's why the collarbone was broken, so that they could make it appear she hung herself in there. There would be no way for her to have broken collarbone ahead of time and then do anything like that herself. The family's been frustrated in their efforts to obtain additional DNA tests and records dealing with the ex-boyfriend. We're told this kid has a file several inches thick, but we're not allowed to see it, Gray says. Ray Moore, Holly's father, has sold his house to help pay for the family's ongoing investigation and the reward offer. The memorial webpage is also accepting donations from the public. We're trying to pay for DNA testing because we can't get anyone else to do it, he says. And we feel a responsibility that this doesn't happen to someone else's kid. some point, someone in authority has to take another look at this. And then they show the segment on the ID channel. So that's where they're at. The poor family is now trying to fight all this on their own. I feel authorities are covering it up. This isn't cool. This is not okay. I don't believe this was suicide. I don't want to accuse anybody of anything, but in my heart of hearts, the only thing that makes sense is this to me. So when I heard this story, it did touch me deeply. And, you know, this isn't going to help do anything, you know, as far as anything, but you never know. We may get something that comes out that we don't even know what it means. I've had other families, you know, I've been doing these for a very long time now, and I've had many families contact me that hey Jamie D,
That's the end of it anyway.
this isn't cool.
Rob, you can cut it there.
All right. I don't know what happened.
You're right. It wasn't a zip tie. It was a cord of some kind. I'm looking at the autopsy pictures,
Okay.
those crime scene pictures, and it's some kind of long cord. I don't know if that could be a telephone cord or something, but it's wrapped around her neck 3, 4, 5 times.
That's how I pictured
that's where
it,
her
like a phone
hands-
cord.
Her hand's still locked in it. Like, this is after they pulled her out of the closet and she's on the ground. Her hand is still locked in it, and
Like-
her
like
elbow is
this,
completely bruised. Yeah, her elbow. What's this hand? And her elbow is completely bruised all through here.
Oh.
My guess is if she was murdered, which I think she was, it was done outside, you know, in that bedroom, her on the floor, someone on top of her, who wrapped this cord around her after, because she had, on the autopsy report, she had an abrasion to her nose and to her chin, like somebody kicked her or punched her. Could have knocked her out or dazed her, started wrapping the cord around her throat, start strangling her, and she got her hand up there, caught in it as they wrapped it around, and then she's on the ground while they're on top of them, and she's trying to get air, and then that's why you got all this bruising right here on her elbow.
Mm-hmm. And they did say there was fluids, like that there were 2 spots, like she was moved. That there was fluids.
There's a bloody handprint. Now, the other interesting thing, do you have the pictures at all? Because if
No.
you go to the, I might send this one to you then, take a screenshot and send it to you, Rob, on Messenger or something. Can you
Yeah.
use that?
Yeah.
Hold on. All right, so the picture of the writing on her leg, I saw this in the report that they had a handwriting analysis say that, you know, they're 2 different handwriting. I'm not an expert on
it
anything.
matches one of the roommates, because there was a game where you write, you know, like Boulder Dash or some sort of game.
Yeah.
And there was handwriting, and one of the handwritings actually matches the roommate. And so I wondered if maybe the roommate was threatening it, because he was.
Well, I'll
friends
tell
said
you,
it was
they
kind
say
of
that
a
2 different
guy.
people's handwriting. I can show you where they get that from, because I used to love studying handwriting. So hold on, let me save this and I'll send it to you, and then you can post it up, because you can see where there's 2 different sets, 2 different handwriting signatures by the letter N in this. Hold on, send it. So I just sent it. Should come to you in a sec. All right, so if you pull up that picture, Rob, I'll show you. The other interesting thing is the text that she sent. They say that some of the last text she sent that picture, and she sent a message that says, "You don't deserve a goodbye,"
Yeah.
was actually copied, when they looked at her cell phone, copied from an argument a week earlier.
And I was
and
going to say.
resent.
Oh, it was resent.
See, if you were the killer and you were going to try to give yourself an alibi or something like that, maybe a suicide. That's why I want to point out a couple things in this picture. Might send something back. You know, he has her cell phone in it, and he maybe knows how to get into it and delete delete messages. Of course, that's not permanent. If they really, they could find that. But send himself a message, even for an alibi cover, maybe.
And there's certain terms, because you know nut job, there's like certain things like that he'll always say, you know, like when you're a couple and you fight, and sometimes people might It might have been a term too that she would
All right.
use like sometimes
Yeah.
when they'd fight, and so it was kind of like his last kind
All
of
right,
a
so
dick move.
look at the ends on Caitlin, Hannah, and was it Nike or whatever that is, or Nicole, or whatever. Look at the ends on those.
Oh yeah, you can
And
even
now look
see
at
the
the
strokes.
and now look at the N on Steven. See the difference? You can see the person wrote Caitlin, Hannah, and if that's Nicole or what that's running around there with the NIK, is this a different hand than the hand that wrote Steven.
Yeah.
They do their ends totally different.
Yep. Yeah, it is.
Even the K's are different on Caitlin and that Nick whatever.
That's hard to say because of the curve of the leg. I can't really tell on that, but they are a little bit different. But the ends are definitely a different different style. But the other thing is look to the right of the picture. What's on the ground laying next to her?
Right here.
Yeah, is that a knife? What is
Oh,
that?
is that the pen underneath her? A pink pen?
That could be the pink pen that's on the side. I don't know what that
Oh,
is.
the
But
knife.
black,
Yeah, that's
is
a
that a
steak
knife? And then look at the and is she on some kind of tile floor?
Yeah, and that looks like a tile floor with like a rug mat, like a floor mat.
Which would be, easy to
the
slide somebody
bathroom.
around on.
Uh-huh.
It means it was most likely in her bathroom. You wanted the most place to not have sound in the house, or maybe close off, or this is an apartment, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe the bathroom's where you go. I don't know. You drag her to the bathroom.
Yeah.
People had said that the roommate always made people feel really, really uncomfortable. And the second they said the room was like military clean, I thought, who does she know in the military? And then it just so happens this guy, her it's like, okay, well there
But
you
the
go.
parents suspect the ex-boyfriend, and if
And-
you were a
and
cop that
because
really
of
believes it's
two
homicide, you
people,
would.
I'm wondering if the roommate somehow got, because if he's shady or so, got talked into or threatened by the dude to, help, to give him
I
maybe
doubt.
access. I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out because one of the handwritings matches the actual roommate from the board game. So I'm trying to tie like how the roommate would be tied into.
The problem with internet sleuthing is there's so many factors that we don't know, so much data we don't have. The cops could have all that data right now and know exactly what was going on with
Well,
the
they
leg
do, and that's the
handwriting.
thing, and they won't release none of it.
Yeah.
So that poor family's having to do it all.
Well, you don't have to release it to the public, but if you know something, tell the parents. The parents hopefully are getting the information they should be getting.
But if it's
No.
a suicide, it'd all be public.
The problem with the suicide options, the forensic doesn't match up because where she hung herself in the closet is shorter than her. The bar is shorter than her. For her to be
And
able
she
to do
was
that to
tall.
herself, it's the same Jeffrey Epstein scenario again, and it's not likely. It's not likely for her to do that to herself. If you see the actual autopsy photos, which I was just scanning through, you can see it's deeply cut into her skin. For her to do that kind of pressure to herself, because she'd have to do it. There's not gravity doing it for her because she's taller than it. She would have to push forward.
And broken
It's not likely.
collarbones.
Not likely.
Where you can't move your arms.
Have second doubts that her hands up there trapped in the hand being trapped in the cord tells me that she woke up semi dazed or conscious as he wrapped this around her neck and she tried to stop and it got wrapped in there.
And hangings, the
can't
arms
unwrap
always
it.
hang. People don't try to save their self if they're trying to kill their self.
The killer, if they're smart enough to know, they can't just undo the cord, get her arm out, and rewrap it around. It's got to stay there. So he had to drag her out wherever he killed her at and put her in the closet and tied it up. Pre-planned too, obviously.
Yeah.
This wasn't on the fly kill. Maybe slightly on the fly, but it wasn't totally on the fly. There was some premeditation thought into this.
I feel it's definitely premeditated.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I hate internet sleuthing for the fact I love the people like you and everybody that tries to do it, but I hate it because you're missing big pieces of data, that
Well,
could
yeah.
hold the whole answer,
And that's why this is just based off of, like, when I was watching this, just common sense and my instincts kicked in, and I'm like, it's
Well,
that guy. And so I just want him to not,
but
whoever did it,
this
not
is
to hurt
the
nobody
problem.
again.
The problem with the military is the timetable. Is okay. So you had enough time to sneak in, sneak out, kill her, clean the place thoroughly, stage it all. You know, because whoever did this took their time to really wipe stuff down. They wiped down bloody handprints, fluids. It wasn't visible to the cops. You know, they didn't do much for forensics on this, obviously. But for the family who paid for it and find this stuff, you know, it's
And that's
there.
why I think the roommate had something, knowledge to it.
Or isn't the military guy at all, and it is the roommate. It's an odd situation. She's a beautiful girl, and I'd love to know more about the roommate in this situation.
Yeah, so we've got some questions we're going to ask the box and just see what type of stuff might come out. And so I'll start it.
I'll tell you this: you know, whoever did it had, you know, had a lot of real big feelings about it. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of anger in that, you know, when you strangle somebody
Definitely personal.
there. So it's definitely personal. And if you had to take a pick ratio statistic wise, it's the boyfriend.
All right.
But like I said, the timetable, he didn't have a lot of time to make that all clean and perfect. But
Yeah. Does this...
and not get caught. You remember the boyfriend showed up at 10:30 that night, so he had to be out before the boyfriend even got there.
Does this sound loud enough?
The roommate, not boyfriend. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, guys, we're going to talk about Holly.
Maybe turn up a little bit.
Do what?
Maybe turn it up just a little bit more.
Right there?
Yeah. Holly Moore, are you out there?
Can you tell us what happened to Holly?
Her college. She was in college.
Was her death a murder or suicide? Was it a murder?
I heard strangled in there. Yes.
Who knows what happened to Holly? How did her collarbone get broken? Who broke her collarbone?
Say Jeff.
Garrett.
I can't remember the boyfriend's
Garrett.
name right now. If she were murdered, how many people were involved? I heard 8. How many people were involved if she were murdered? If she were murdered, was the person involved with the military? Who wrote the names on her legs?
I heard an illness.
Did her roommate know anything about it? Was her roommate involved? If she were murdered, was it her ex-boyfriend?
In what room of her apartment was Holly murdered?
What's that?
I'm asking, in what room of her apartment was Holly murdered in?
What room was Holly murdered in?
Bathroom?
Did she commit suicide due to depression? Did she send those texts to her ex that night? Or was it him?
How did Holly get the bruising to her face? Or the marks?
How did she get the marks on her face?
How did she bruise her elbow? Her left elbow?
How did she bruise her left elbow? If murdered, did the killer have help holding her down while he set her up? How did Holly die? Who killed Holly? If she were murdered, was the roommate forced to help? Was there a cover-up with the autopsy technician?
I heard corrupt.
Was he told to lie?
Yes.
Is there any evidence being overlooked that might help investigators or the family?
I heard the boy.
Is there any evidence that would help?
Oh yes, help.
Yep.
And if an angel or guide can help relay, does Holly have any messages for anybody that might be listening? And then if anybody else has any questions, I'm going to shut down and then pass it to Rod.
Girls. Girls dead.
Okay, we're going to count down in 3. Thank you so much. 3, 2, 1. Thank you. It's hard hearing it back in real time.
Yep.
So you caught some stuff though, huh, Jason?
I heard some.
All right, I'm going to be asking pretty much the same questions about Holly through my ghost box here. Can anybody tell us what happened to Holly?
More time.
What kind of cord was used around Holly's neck to strangle her?
Flap.
Was it rope? Or was it a phone cord?
I don't.
Can you tell us if Holly's death was a murder or a suicide?
Repeat after me. Smith. This beautiful.
Who knows what happened to Holly?
This is
Queen. The
full time. And this.
so like.
Has the murderer confessed to anyone?
Trust me.
Just me.
3. Relative.
Relative? Brother?
Or
You're saying the murderer confessed to a brother?
What's especially the end. And
Pence.
How did Holly's collarbone get broken?
so in my
If she was murdered, how many people were involved?
so we came out tricky
Came out evil?
far now.
Is the military involved in your death in any way, Holly? Or the spirits know?
I'm history that way. Mission is not to open.
Mission September 4th.
That's too.
Who wrote the names on Holly's legs?
I think I heard her name right there.
Watch.
Animal.
It's the animal that did this to her, yeah.
Ask.
Ask Matt.
No. Yeah.
Get him.
Get him.
Get him.
Oh, hello.
Is Holly here with us tonight? Can she hear us and answer?
Road. Him. Well, so. Us.
Your son.
No.
Again.
Did her roommate know anything about what happened to her?
He's the best.
And
You feel for you.
mine.
You feel it, feel for you. I don't know. That's all.
Usual level. Fire chicks.
Cheese, earth, and fire.
If she was murdered, was it her ex-boyfriend?
Different.
Different.
Was it her ex-boyfriend? Yes or no?
Wait. Ma'am.
Queen. The clock.
Can you say the name of the murderer?
And now,
What's it?
sure,
I wasn't sure.
take my
Great. Protect us.
Did they say wolf right before that?
Smile.
Sounded like it.
So,
Gosh, they.
I gotta look up the names of like the boyfriend and roommate.
Yeah, I can't find the name of the roommate.
What's the boyfriend's name?
But I'm looking at the names on the leg. I'm assuming he could be one of them. Jacob and Stephen are only two recognizable male names I can see. There could be a Richard there, if that's the end of Richard, on the side.
Those were supposed to be names, I think, of guys that were friends of hers in her phone book that her boyfriend used to get mad
But there's
about.
girls' names too: Hannah, April, Caitlin. And there's these lines. And there looks like there could be a Billy up at the top of her leg or something like that, or a Richard here might be, but it's just the end of it. Nikki, I'm betting is the N-I-K-I. It looks like that's an I there, and then Jacob, and then there's an A at the bottom there. So and they said one of them was her boyfriend's handwriting, so if he wrote on her leg, maybe he could be Jacob, Richard, Billy, Willie. Who's Jacob to Holly?
Say.
Who's watching?
away from follow.
Is Jacob Holly's roommate, or was it her roommate?
Went. And
Connection.
Connection.
Just.
The window.
Something out the window?
Command.
Something for his money?
No.
Whose money?
Your aura. What's it?
If she committed suicide, was it due to depression?
Choose.
Ground.
Louise.
Know that.
That's us. Yep.
Was it Holly that sent the messages, the text messages, to her ex-boyfriend that night?
Is Holly alive or dead when the names were written on her leg?
Beautiful.
Boots forbidden. Almost. Louis.
Doing problems.
Did someone intentionally break Holly's collarbone?
Flick.
Problems.
Take my
Ferocity.
Okay, the roommate's name is Zach, I believe.
Get a Zach back.
It says persons of interest to the family and that had access to her apartment.
So,
It's her 20-year-old ex-boyfriend, Steven,
Yeah.
20-year-old roommate, Zach. He's also an Army ROTC.
Hmm.
And a 21-year-old roommate for only 2 days, Brittany. Didn't know the roommate was also
That's
that-
interesting.
uh-huh.
Did Zach have anything to do with Holly's death?
to help. What?
Sounds like it said to help.
Wait.
the three.
If she was murdered, did the killer have help holding her down while she was set up?
Just
So now.
Station. Listen.
help. Must
Flop.
ma'am.
Can you tell us how Holly died?
Just
Shit.
I heard he saw it. Who saw it?
You gotta read that update I just sent.
Who killed Holly?
they will.
The girlfriend gave the wrong date for the alibi.
Hmm.
What girlfriend?
Of the ex-boyfriend.
He had another girlfriend,
Mm-hmm.
and
Well,
so
it's
she was in.
an army buddy's wife gave alibi for wrong day and said Holly's ex-boyfriend told her and her husband to come home to discuss what to say to police if they came.
Oh, well
So
then he's
hearsay.
guilty.
Yeah.
He's so guilty.
Note this was
I don't need a
before the
spirit
crime
box then.
scene was even processed in the morning after
Yeah.
she died. There's
Yep.
no way anyone could have known the cause of death
Yep.
except.
Yep. That should sum it up right there. That testimony right there.
Yeah.
So that bastard. That bastard was able to get into her house because what the report said her roommate arrived home at 10:30. What was the last time of contact they had with her? 6 o'clock,
I don't remember.
something like that. Some in the evening, maybe. So he had like a few hours or so. He had to clean that up and get out of there and get back to base. So it's possible. And then he, whoever did it, like I said, it had to be pretty personal. If you see the autopsy, you'll see this person strangled her so bad it cut through the flesh. It was a perfect circle.
Yeah, it was like
And it was fast.
almost like could have taken her head off.
Right, it was overkill, fast. Remember the O.J. Simpson Nicole case? He almost took her head off of the knife. Yeah, if somebody doesn't do that, randomly killing somebody, they don't have a lot of feelings about that killing.
Crime of passion, definitely.
Mhm. Yep.
And I'm trying to look at the picture better because Lori was asking
Wow, I think
about.
this guy's out there getting away with this. This is sick.
That's what I'm saying. I want this. Nothing's gonna bring her back. But if anything, if this guy can never do it again, and his little asshole self, allegedly, going around like he got away with it, probably telling other girls, "Hey, I got away with it before."
No, he's not telling other girls. He knows he's been watched. He was obviously getting his friends. This guy's not completely stupid. He obviously pre-planned this, in some sense. I don't say it was like he planned it for weeks kind of thing. It was like pre-planned within a moment of a couple hours, you know, like I've had it with this, you know, and
Go take care of
confronted,
it.
yep, and I'll show her. And he was just on a man of fury. But whatever he did, I'm guessing he punched her in the face because of the abrasions to her face, dazed her. You know, I mean, you're talking about a guy that probably outweighed her quite a bit, and in the military could probably throw a pretty good punch, dazed her, and then got on top of her from behind and started wrapping the cord around her throat, and that's when she got caught trying to stop him. And that's why the picture of her autopsy, when they took her out of the closet, it's still stuck in there. Her fingers are still stuck in there. She tried to stop it because he did it really fast and then pulled. And they said it was overkill. It was done fast. It had to been done real fast. Like if she was doing it to herself, she would have to like wrap it around and like
With broken collarbones.
that much force, right, to get the broken collarbone. So him on his back doing it, yeah, or her on her back and him on top doing it. I mean, you know, one person job. He could have definitely done it himself.
Yeah.
And then dragged the body, tied it up. And there, the whole interesting thing to me is the whole. If we only knew more about what the whole thing was with the names on the leg.
Mm-hmm.
Why is there looks like a knife in the picture? It could be a nail file. I don't know, but it looks.
It looked like a steak knife.
It looks like a
I don't
steak
know if
knife
they
there.
cut- Oh, didn't the roommate say he cut her down before he called 911 or something? Like
That would
had
be
cut
bad.
her-
Did he? I didn't see that in the report.
I
don't think
it's
so.
the- It was something I'd seen on the Our ID show.
Well, there's a picture on here, and one of the websites covering it, they do show a picture of her on the ground, like somebody did cut her down, and maybe he did to see if she was still conscious and could save her life. I can't blame somebody for doing that. So that's a possibility. First thing you think is get them down, maybe they're alive. You know,
Yeah.
it's possible. It doesn't mean he's guilty of anything. That's a good possibility. That sucks because that screws up the crime scene. But you know, when you don't know that, you don't know it when you're trying to save somebody's life.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Honestly, if he hadn't cut her down, that might make me more suspicious of him. You know,
Yeah.
the fact that he cut her, if that's true, he cut her down. That really makes me less suspicious of him.
Yeah, don't
Somebody who
quote me on
staged that wouldn't unstage it. You know what I'm saying? If he staged it, he wouldn't touch it. It's staged. He wants them to find it. You know what I'm saying? Like he wouldn't cut her down. I don't think.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Is that supposed to mean like you see how the slashes there? Like I'm gonna cut myself or something? You know, that's what I keep thinking of when I see the three slash marks. The way that you know, why are those there?
Yeah.
One near the name Caitlin, and then it's like, is that knife there for a reason? You know, what's the whole deal with this? When was this texted? If I remember right, it said the night of the murder, right?
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I mean, that right there definitely looks like, a pink pen, right here. And
Yeah,
then
something pink.
that's
and then
definitely a knife. But
and
yeah,
it looks
that
like
was
she's laying down on a bathroom mat, and and there's the tile floor. Wait, back up on that photo. No, back up, not in. Back up. Now, what part of her leg? You see all the way down the left corner. It's like she have any clothes on in that? What's going on? You see what I
Yeah.
mean?
Doesn't really
Mm-hmm.
look like it. I mean, that's the top of her leg, and that's like,
Yeah, her thighs.
yeah. I mean, if she may have underwear on or something, but if she would have had shorts or something, it's some pretty damn short shorts if they're all the way up here.
Well, it could be.
Yeah.
That's just
And then
we're
they
just seeing
also
her
said
stomach
it's
and legs there.
physically impossible because, like, some of the names wrap around the leg, and they had said that you can't. That a person wouldn't have been able to write around
No,
their
it looks
leg
like people
the way it
writing on her
was.
leg, like it was part of a party or some kind of joke thing. I don't know. That's why I say we don't have the data on this to know exactly what the meaning of this is. I just find it interesting, the pose of it with the knife there
Yeah.
on a bathroom floor. You know, what's going on? We just don't have the data to know what it means.
Yeah.
I want you to watch that whole ID one. I'm trying to find the
I did.
episode. The whole one.
Mhm.
Okay.
That it's like I said, we're missing data points here that would give us more clues. The cops have and obviously feel it's different, have a different opinion, but I don't know how. I don't know what data set they have that's telling them that this isn't highly suspicious.
Yeah, I mean,
I
there's
think it's a cover up.
yeah, there's definitely something going on. You
He
don't-
could have, if the guy was smart enough to get away with this, he might have been smart enough that the cell phone thing might be a non-issue because, and the cops might know this, all he has to do is just leave his cell phone at the base and not take it with him.
Yeah,
Yeah, but if he was like corresponding, like the back and forth.
All he had to do is send the last text he sent her, get there, kill her, send himself back a text, and then he can get home, send another text. if he
Yeah,
needed to.
depending how many minutes apart.
You'd have to have the whole body of all the text and try to see what it is. I find it interesting that the last message sent to him was just a message that was copy and pasted.
Yeah.
Like, why not just type it out again
Why
and
don't
send it?
type it? Yeah.
Why copy that and send that again? Is it because you don't want to type on the phone, or I don't know.
yeah. The spirits give us any other messages or clues about Holly's death?
They do. It's like the book thinking you. Hiding you.
It is certain.
Well,
Why did Stephen kill her?
Right.
I'm sorry, I'm just going with it.
Charlie.
Yeah. Motivation and the motive.
Did you say something motive?
The reason.
Sure.
It's hard to hear with my fan,
The
computer fan.
Nice.
Why are the authorities keeping all the evidence and reports locked down?
Depends.
Are they hoping that Stephen gets cocky and says something to the wrong person? It's about their only hope. Sometimes they'll lay off an investigation. They know who it is. They don't have the evidence, and they hope that they do something stupid.
Yeah,
to
except
talk.
it's all circumstantial. They know there's no point even trying to put it in front of a jury.
Like the person thinks, "Oh yeah, I got away with it," and then they start getting loosey lip about it.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, just me looking at it from the outside, it doesn't, I don't think it's a suicide. And it's, it's scary, like how often this happens to people. I mean, with what happened with Jamie, several other people in the chat room that have been in, relationships where things have gotten crazy. I mean, this is just our little group. I mean, and we have several people that have had issues here. So, it's definitely a problem. And a lot of people seem to get away with it.
See, killings like these, these are the ones that really shock me when they do get away with it, because, I mean, the first thing cops look at is the boyfriend, the ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
First thing they look at, they but again, there's this tendency in police departments to, well, that's easy. We can wrap that up as a suicide and let's move on, because it's a lot harder to nail somebody to this being a murder.
Yeah.
If they cleaned up all the evidence, I mean, even though they sent a forensic team, the family paid for it, they got evidence that there was a murder, but they didn't get evidence that showed who the murderer was.
Yeah.
And that's the cops would come up with the same scenario. Well, we could just write this off and say it's a suicide. Lucky us, right?
Yeah. And, you have that scenario of, you know, the ex-boyfriend and one of the roommates are in the military, you know. I mean, there was a case here in St. Augustine several years ago.
Yeah.
It was on the ID channel and everything, and it was a cop's girlfriend that supposedly died of a suicide. But you know, all the evidence. I mean, he's free. He's still a cop. But there's
Well,
people.
look at Drew Peterson. I mean,
Yeah,
you know, he got away with killing a wife, you know, until many years later.
yeah.
That was closed case reopened to get him on his wife, and we still don't know where Stacy is.
The only reason
See,
I
somebody
didn't
got
charge
cocky.
my ex was because I felt sorry for his mom because I lived, and his mom was so upset, and I really, really liked her. I felt sorry for his mom.
Well, hopefully we can go back and listen to some of that and see
Yeah.
if anything else.
Yeah, it'd be
came through.
interesting if you got anything correlated to the names, you know, like
Yeah.
Zach being the roommate, the names on the leg. You got a lot there to see if anything comes out.
And Lori, I see a couple of people mention some stuff out of bed, pregnant, this and that. I don't know anything about her, being pregnant or.
Yeah,
I
no
mean,
data came out on that.
Yeah, and that could be a reason, to want to take care of somebody. But I haven't heard anything about her actually being pregnant, so I can't say on that.
You said there was money involved. Something about checks, Jamie?
Um,
That she owed him money, or he owed her money, or what was that?
that I don't remember.
You said something about her sending checks to him that night, or something like that. I heard you say something about that. So I
Oh,
was wondering if
texts.
money was text. Oh, text.
Yeah, I was just slurring.
He did this. If there's her ex-boyfriend, usually it's out of, she said, "I'm done with you, goodbye," and he couldn't admit, rather, if I can't have her, nobody can mentality.
Yeah.
I mean, look what I'm dealing with right now with nut job. If he wasn't so many states away, I would be really worried. I mean, there's so many just sick, crazy people, and they're not criminals yet, until they do it the first time.
Yeah. Yet being the key word.
But this stuff just upsets me so bad, and for everybody that has had to deal with something like this and
This-
got away.
Whoever did
From
this
it.
felt pretty confident.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if they had tried something before on somebody or whatever. They felt pretty confident. I mean, at any time, if they did this, they had to have some idea, a time scale of when other witnesses could be there. She had two other roommates that could walk in at any time, unless this person knew exactly where they were at to feel confident enough to have time to do this.
I think there was one roommate, and then there was like a new roommate.
New roommate that only been there 2 days.
Yeah.
And her name was Brittany. And that's the thing. Where was, who would know their timetables? This person had to feel confident they could get in there, kill her, have time to clean up, and get away.
Yeah.
That's true.
That takes some confidence, and they're, to do it.
And the fact that the sister has said that, he has choked her before, the sister, enough that the sister filed a report. I mean, this guy picked her up.
I wouldn't be
Why is
surprised
there
if this guy was charged and they found and they searched his place, you'd find a bunch of SMM, submissive strangulation fantasy stuff too.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
This could be something he did plan out that he's fantasized about as their relationship started to deteriorate. It could be something he fantasized about. I'm a big advocate against porn, SSM stuff. I'm like the 80-year-old man in the room, but I think it programs people to. I do. I think it can program people mentally in a wrong way to view sex and others in an inanimate object kind of way, to do horrible things like this. So I wouldn't be surprised if you were to look into this guy's private collection, you'd find a lot of that kind of stuff.
Probably.
Whoever did it to her, if it was him or whoever did it to her, they didn't hesitate. Is what I'm saying. That cord was wrapped around quick, and they did it. There wasn't any hesitation. They fantasized about it at some point leading up to this. It built up, and then they acted.
And like you're saying too, I mean, like with the roommates and like planning it, knowing when everybody was going to be gone or whatever. Or it could have been planning when everybody's there to help. You know?
Yeah, I honestly don't think I think this was a lone person kill. I don't think they needed help. I think that's why I said the whole handwriting thing could be leading us down a wrong road. We don't know what it's about, data set wise. Could have just been a lone person.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's just weird that
you're a lone
in that
person, you don't feel
handwriter
you can feel a lot more
analysis said it
confident.
matched the roommates. One of the names matched the roommates.
Right, but we don't know what the whole situation is. Why the handwriting was there? You know,
Yeah.
it could be totally unrelated to the actual murder.
Yeah, I mean, if it was just, you know,
And
party.
when somebody else came out and said, "Yo, we had a party earlier, and we all had, signed her leg."
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing. If those names are written after the fact, then that's a whole nother story, you know.
Well, been right after the fact, because I mean it looks like a live leg. I mean, we couldn't tell if she was dead in that picture or not, but I have a feeling she's alive in that picture. And then that was it could be all taken out of context as something we don't know. Information has just not been made available to the public for whatever reason.
Yeah.
True.
But like I'm saying, all we know is that whoever killed her had to feel pretty confident about it, didn't hesitate, definitely, I have to say, had to have fantasized about doing it, a build-up to act like that.
And it's definitely personal.
And look, the talk about two different people witnessing him choking her at two different times, that shows right where he goes to.
Yeah.
Huge red flags, you know.
Something he's fantasized about. It could be something they did even, people get into that kinky stuff, in the bedroom and yeah.
But as far as the picture goes, I mean, police or whoever, I mean, they could look at the timestamp on the photo and see when it was taken, So that shouldn't be an issue,
Question: is it still on her leg when they found her? I mean, those are the questions I'd have.
Yeah.
Data sets, things, information we need.
Yeah.
We need to know to kind of answer these questions, like how important is the picture, the handwriting, what does it mean?
Yeah.
To fill in those little gaps, those little puzzle pieces.
I mean, that's why the Lisa Lamb story went on for so long, because they kept that one missing piece of data was the lid closed or open on the water tank.
Ah, yeah.
That was missing for years until the family took the hotel to court, and it came out in a deposition that the janitor found it open. And that's like, okay, well, then she probably killed herself.
Yeah.
It's just information. Yeah,
Wait,
we don't have
the lid was open?
Yeah. The janitor in Lisa Lamb case, he found, when he's first person to find her body in that water tank, found that lid off. She did, so that's good chances are that she killed herself.
I didn't know that part.
Yeah.
I always thought that the lid was closed on top of her.
That all came from a police. Watch the documentary; they do a really good job. But it all came from a police.
Is it the one that's on the
police
screen,
conference
whatever?
they did on? Yeah, well, the cop says, we went up there and found the lid closed. Well, because the janitor put the lid back on top of it. So then the cop relays the information of what they saw on scene, because the reporter asked, what did you see on scene? When we arrived, we found the lid closed, blah, 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 because he's talking about what they saw. But the thing is, the janitor is the one that found her, and he found the lid was off. So
What was that documentary on that new
Netflix
Discovery
thing?
stream?
It's on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
As their crime, whatever thing. It's really good. They did a really good job.
Oh, I'm definitely checking that out, because we got Netflix here, and I need to see that.
And, as far as her going up on the roof, and getting through the locked door, I mean, it makes sense if she went up the fire escape, I mean, it's a pretty ballsy move, but.
And then that documentary, one of the people that was an internet sleuth, when he went to that hotel, he had hit the door to the staircase door that they say is alarmed. There's no way. And he hit it and opened, and there's no alarm.
No shit.
Yeah, so She could have just walked right out the stairs and walked right onto the roof, if that's the
Yeah.
case. Either way, I can see why they ruled it an accidental death.
Yeah. Still a lot of weird things in that, but
Yeah. Oh yeah, there is. But yeah, I think what we witnessed was a psychotic breakdown and
yeah.
ended really badly.
Wow.
Maybe that hotel had a part of it because it's just
Yeah.
a bad place. But that's
Yeah.
off topic. With this case, I really, I do think, there's a lot of telltale signs that it's a staged suicide and it's really a murder. I mean, for somebody, it's the Jeffrey Epstein thing. It really is. It's totally
Yeah.
related to why I don't buy the Jeffrey Epstein cause of death.
Yeah.
Somebody is not going to be able to put that kind of pressure to try to kill themselves. There's a human response to stop yourself from causing harm to yourself that badly. And similar, same collarbone broken to Jeffrey Epstein, pretty much. I mean, in the same way, he wasn't tall enough to do the damage he was, or he was too tall to do the damage he did.
His collarbone was broken?
Yeah, that's why they said it was a sign that it was not suicide, but ignored. Said sometimes it can happen, rarely, but usually it's a sign that they're, murdered.
Huh.
Yeah.
I know about that little horseshoe bone in the neck.
That's the bone, not his collarbone. Sorry, you're right. That was the bone that was broken. But still, it's a similar deal. Breaking a bone, it hurts. And to do that to yourself, yeah. And like I said, with her, the fingers caught in the loop, like what, she wrapped it around and got her fingers caught in there? I don't think so. I think that should have been immediate coroner. That's what's suspicious about the police and their activity, and as the coroner right away should have been like, oh yeah, this is not suicide.
And if she was all of a sudden doing it and then changed her mind and thought, oh, I can't die like this, you think that she would have?
Her fingers wouldn't be trapped in the rope.
Yeah.
The way they would not be trapped in the rope. Because once it's that tight enough, it's strangling her. She's trying to get her fingers. She's not going to get her fingers under that rope. She's not going to do it.
I remember trying to get my fingers under. He had his hand on my mouth and my nose, covering it with one hand, while he was going down with the other hand. And he was an ex-football player, MMA fighter, and my arms were crossed like this while he was sitting on top of me and trying just to pry, get enough space under his hands to get some air. And that was next to impossible.
The other reason I don't think it's suicide is she had enough pills in the room. They said, her medicine cabinet too, drugged herself and killed herself, and there was also a gun. Now, women statistically women statistically don't kill themselves by gun, but they do highly statistically kill themselves with
by
pills.
pills.
Yeah.
Yeah. Strangulation, right off the bat is a big warning sign that this is foul play.
Yeah.
The hanging.
Because girls want it to be fast. She would definitely do a spot where she could jump off a stool and actually break her neck. Because when you're thinking about that, you're thinking you want to make sure to go through with it. You don't want to come out and have more problems later and not have died. You're going to want to make sure you finish your job. And
I've always been interested in the Robin Williams autopsies because, that's the same scenario with him. He hung himself in a closet.
And normally when there's hangings too, there's blood. The blood will spray out and hit a wall. So if you've
not usually, no, that's if there's some kind of really sharp ligature. But usually it's if you look at her autopsy, you'll see that the flesh is completely smashed in, completely where it's about ready to serrate the neck. It's such forced pressure, but it didn't.
No, I mean people who hang themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there'll be blood that sprays out.
Depends on how tight the ligature is and how they do it, but yeah.
Like the rock star, I can't think of his name, that had died in his hotel room. Remember the sunglasses? Who was it?
Guy from In Excess. I can't think of his name.
Michael.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one that girlfriend said he was okay, and then.
Well, that was him doing a sexual act, not suicide. Same with David Carradine, supposedly.
Ah.
What about Anthony Bourdain? Was he he was a hanger too?
Another hanging in the closet. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to get going. I know
Yeah.
I have to
You
get up
wanna
early for Dean.
talk about Sunday real quick before we get off?
Yeah, I'm not sure if we're going to do a show Sunday. Most likely not, because I got to get up really early on Monday, so I might not have a show Sunday. I already had a guest cancel anyway, so I was like, oh, that might work out, because I got to be up really early. So I'm trying to decide if I'm going to do open lines or just probably call it a night, because I do need to get some sleep. So might not be back this Sunday, but we'll be back the fall.
Cool. Well, last Sunday show was awesome.
Yeah, it was a great guest.
That guy had stories upon stories upon stories.
Yeah, he was awesome.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
All right. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us. Thanks Jason for coming on, and
That was fun.
we'll catch you guys maybe Sunday, if not next Wednesday for another Weird Wednesday. So everybody have a great night and a good week coming up. Rest of the week, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. Every day is just another day to me now. All right. You all take care. Good night.
Good night.